Welcome in to the PHNX Suns pregame show brought to you by our friends at the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you know whenever we are live. I'm Lindsey Smith here with Saul Bookman, and happy Mother's Day, everybody. Shout out to all the mamas out there holding it down for us, being the staple in our household. So happy Mother's Day. Hopefully we get a Suns win to celebrate.
Absolutely. Shout out to all the moms out there. There's a lot of great ones. And so, yeah, it's a fantastic day. It's always good to celebrate people that you love.
Exactly. And in honor of Mother's Day, Saul, I thought it'd be fun to start the show just giving some flowers to some of our favorite moms. You can give flowers to your mom. I'll give flowers to my mom, but more specifically, sports moms, right? We've got some really awesome sports moms out there who are doing big things for their children, who are competing at the highest level in their sport. A lot of them over here on the Sun side of things. There was a really cool article. I'll start things off. So there was a really cool article on NBA.com today about DeAndre Ayton's mom, Andrea. And she said she's going to be in attendance this afternoon, game 4 in Dallas. And this is the first time that she will ever be watching her son play on Mother's Day. So the first time DA is going to play in front of his mom on Mother's Day in his 4-year NBA career. She said, quote, "I think my presence there is very important. I'll enjoy the game so much." She also said she presumes she'll enjoy the celebration after the game, although she doesn't know exactly what it is. But she said her son DA always has a plan. I think Andrea, she's such a great sports mom because she's like a mom to everybody on the team. In my time with the Suns, being able to some of these games has been super cool because she's like the loudest person in the building. She is, you know how everyone always asks players, like, can you hear your mom's voice in the stands, like during games? Can you pick them out? She's the mom that you can pick out. She's not like yelling like things that he needs to work on or change. She's literally just the biggest cheerleader for all. She is so sweet. I love her. She's one of my favorite sports moms for sure.
I've never met her. I've never I don't think I've ever even seen her. But I mean, that's terrific. Like when you have a support system like that is constantly encouraging you, cheering for you. That's what kids want, right? Did I lose my screen? Or are you good?
Nope, I can't see you anymore.
Oh, well, that sucks. So yeah, I just think let me figure out what's going on with my camera.
Did you plug your phone in?
Yeah, everything's plugged in. Oh, well, this is awesome. This is so cool. Well, maybe people didn't want to see me anyway. So yeah, okay. I don't even know what the hell's going on here. Oh well. Okay, well, I'm going to be seamless. Here we go. I just think it's cool when players get the support that they deserve, especially from that side of things. And listen, DA is not the only mom. Mikhail's mom has been very supportive. She's actually been on several other podcasts. I think she's even been in a commercial with him or something like that. Like, there's just a lot of the moms out there on the Suns squad are just very supportive and pretty dope. So
yeah, absolutely. I love, like you said, Mikhail's mom. She's so nice too. DA's mom always does community service type things too. I remember, I think every Thanksgiving she hosts families that may be struggling a little bit at her house, and she cooks them a Thanksgiving meal, which is really cool. And then also shout out to JaVale's mom, Pamela, who was a badass athlete herself. I think, wasn't it JaVale and Pamela who became the first mother and son to have gold medals in an Olympic game?
Yep.
The first mother-son in history to do that?
Yep.
Which is super cool. I mean, we just got so many great sports moms out there. Wanted to give a few flowers to some of them to start the show. Happy Mother's Day. I hope you guys all spoiled your moms today. If you haven't called or texted them yet, please do that sooner than later. All right, let's get into a little bit of Suns talk here. Game 4 of the Phoenix Suns and the Dallas Mavericks series. It's a 2-1 series lead for the Suns. This game will take place in Dallas, of course. Saul, obviously, your camera's back. Hey,
hi.
there you are.
Oh man, my iPad's on like 3% charging. So if I disappear, it's because my iPad's gone off. So
Oh, great. Lovely. So
man, that's hard.
obviously, game 3 did not go the way that we wanted it to. How are you anticipating the Suns will rebound and bounce back after that game here tonight?
Yeah, I actually think that they're going to have a very strong bounce back game. And I actually think that it's great that you brought up DA and his mom, because I feel like DA is going to have his best game of the series tonight. He's had a couple kind of duds, duds by playoff DA standards. And I think tonight's a night where he's going to break out. I think the Suns realize that there were some things that they should have and probably could have taken advantage of in game 3. I think they'll do that tonight. And, I think it's going to be a big game for the Suns. I know a lot of people were talking about they anticipated the Suns winning game 3 and then losing game 4. But I actually felt the opposite way. I said if there was a game that the Suns were going to lose, it would be game 3, because if they won game 3, that you just took all of Dallas's, you would have taken Dallas's best punch, and that would be it. So I actually feel really, really good about their chances today.
I agree. I also think like the Suns are really good at responding when they drop a game. So I would hope that they would come out tonight with a little bit more energy and a little bit more focus than they did in game 3. I do love the idea of DeAndre Ayton having a really big game. I feel like we're due for a really big DA game. And this is a series and this is a matchup where DA can be extremely dominant. It's just a matter of, does he bring that juice and that energy and kind of set himself up from the jump to have that type of a game. So I would love to see that from DA here tonight. What are there any adjustments that you want to see from the Suns as far as what the Mavs threw out them in game 3? Because I know we talked about it on Friday night. The Mavs, the way that they played defense against the Suns kind of changed a little bit. The fact that they got, Luka off the ball a little bit more was something that I think helped the Mavs a lot in game 3. What adjustments do you want to see the Suns make if the Mavs do the same thing they did in game 3 tonight?
The biggest one, don't turn the ball over. That's it. They don't turn the ball over, they win that game. That was so uncharacteristically sloppy from this Suns team, a team that has been one of the best in the league in taking care of the ball. And then, the point guard himself just having such a tragic game turnover-wise the other night. So I do not anticipate that repeating itself tonight, because I felt like that was more of errors in judgment than it was the defense of the Mavs causing havoc, if you will. I just never felt like the Mavs defense was causing these turnovers by getting their hands in the lane, slapping things. Like, I just felt like Chris Paul was like, oh, I have a layup right here at the rim, and for whatever reason at the last second, I'm going to drop it off to DA, who's covered by 3 people. I don't know why. I just feel like doing it today. So I don't anticipate that happening. And I think the Suns will come out on top just because of that simple reason.
Yeah, I mean, the Suns had 17 turnovers Friday night, 12 between Chris Paul and Devin Booker, which, like you said, not the norm for those two guys, especially when we're talking playoff level basketball. I think Chris Paul, so all 7 of his turnovers for Chris Paul came in the first half. Mm-hmm. His season high this year was 7 turnovers in a game. And I believe his career high or career playoff high is 8. Mm-hmm. So just a really rough night for him as far as those turnovers go. And I don't think we'll see a repeat of that here tonight at all. One thing that I do think that I would like to see from the Suns a little bit tonight is just to play a little bit faster. They need to control the pace, control that tempo a little bit more, which we did see in game 1 and 2. I think for whatever reason, I don't know if it was a lack of energy or just, not being in the right mental headspace coming into this one. They let the Mavs kind of dictate that a lot more in game 3 than what we were used to seeing.
I would like to see Devin Booker not kind of disappear in moments of this game. And I feel like he's kind of done that since he's come back from the injury where, he'll have a hot flash, he'll come out strong or, he just kind of, flows into the game. And then in the second and third quarter, he just kind of, you forget he's out there for a large stretch of time. And then in the fourth quarter, maybe he does a few more things. But I would like to see Devin Booker kind of, force himself onto the Mavs more consistently through all 4 quarters, as opposed to just here and there. Like Chris Paul is 37. he has to manage not only his own game in his team's game, but his load, because he's 37. Like he's an older guy. Devin Booker doesn't have that excuse. He's 25 years old. He's spry. He's young. He just came off of a week off, basically, in rehabbing his hamstring. He should be fresh and ready to go. So I need dominant Booker today. I need a dominant Booker performance today.
Yeah, I mean, that would be fantastic, because it was really surprising in Game 3 that Jay Crowder was the leading scorer for the Suns, and kudos to Jay Crowder, because he got his rhythm back. It's great to see him knocking down shots again, especially after what we got in round 1 of the playoffs. So thank goodness that Jay was able to find that rhythm throughout this series, and hopefully he continues to have that touch. But the fact that Jay Crowder is your leading scorer on the Suns team shows that, something wasn't working right, or something was off, whether it was, what the Mavs were throwing at the Suns, which I don't believe it was that. I think it was the Suns allowed themselves to just beat themselves in this game more so than anything. That doesn't discredit what the Mavs were able to do adjustments wise, but I still think it was majority on the Suns.
Yeah, if you'd have told me before Game 3 that the Suns were going to out-rebound the Mavericks and shoot a better percentage, I would have been like, oh, yeah, so 3-0 lead, but the ultimate neutralizer is those turnovers. So, and Jay Crowder leading the team in scoring. I love Jay. I think he's a very, very good player, but that can't happen. That just can't happen. Like you need your superstars to step up and play big. And today's one of those games, because you don't want to go 2-2 and come back to Phoenix and have to go back to Dallas. Like nobody wants to do that. And we'll get into the reasons why here in a little bit.
All right. So I saw a really interesting tweet from Zin Varlock today. He said, one idea for the Suns is to put Mikal on Brunson to start the game and throw him off rhythm. Jay guards Luka. Force Dallas into the same situations that force Luka to be overly ball dominant in game 1 and 2. Credit protected pick of the Timeline Pod for the idea. Thoughts? What do you think about this move?
I love it. I love it because, listen, I think Jalen Brunson's starting to feel himself after a much better performance in Game 3. And, Mikal Bridges obviously matches up better against Jalen Brunson than he does against Luka Doncic, because I guarantee you the Mavs are going to go right back to trying to pound the ball down low with Luka and punish the smaller guards that are trying to guard him. And Mikal Bridges, as great as he is a tweener compared to Luka. Luka's a very thick dude. And so he can back his way down and take advantage of that. And he did that several times against Mikal the other night. Can't really do that so much against Jay Crowder, not only because Jay Crowder is very crafty, but he's also way more physical, much bigger guy. He matches up very much better against Luka. So I like that matchup. And then you're going to force Luka, as you said, you're going to force Luka into being a one-on-one type of player, taking more of his own shots. And if you're the Suns, that's what you want. You don't want him to distribute the ball the way he did the other night, because that puts you in precarious positions all over the floor. So, going one-on-one with Luka is ideal for you.
And we talked about this pregame before Game 3 that, in Game 1 and 2, the Mavs tried to have Luka be that main person, right? It was as Luka goes, this team goes, but it was a disservice to the rest of the players on the Mavs because it did not allow them to find a rhythm whatsoever. So they weren't able to have big impacts on the game. But on Game 3, they wanted to get Brunson going early. It opened him up. He found a rhythm. He finished with 28 points. I mean, he had 2 additional points than Luka did. Obviously, Luka almost had a triple-double in that game. But regardless, Luka scored, I think, what would that be, 7 less points than he did in Game 2. But Jalen Brunson closed the gap as far as how many points he had in Game 2 versus Game 3. It was a completely different ball game. That's what they needed to win that game.
Yeah, and I said before Game 3, the only way the Mavs would win in this series is if Luka and Brunson can carry a bulk of the scoring load, but they also had other contributors that would help and play kind of lights out, and that's what they got in Game 3. Like the Mavs played very, very well. The Suns had their worst game, I believe, of the playoffs in Game 3, and they still only lost by 9. And I feel like that's a little bit of fool's gold too, because the Suns made a little bit of a push towards the end. So you can sit there and say, "Oh, well, they only lost by 9." Like, cool, but they did get outworked and they got outplayed basically the whole entire game, from about the 4-minute in mark of the first quarter to the end. So you just can't have a sloppy game today if you're the Suns. If they play sharp, they play Phoenix Suns basketball, they'll win this game. They're a much better team than the Dallas Mavericks. If they don't, they're going to be coming home, and nerves will be a little tighter come Tuesday.
I also don't mind this idea for Mikal Bridges either, because I know he can handle the assignment, and I think you could even play Mikal more. Start him on Jalen to force them to go through Luka, tire Luka out, and then add on a couple extra minutes for Mikal. I mean, we saw him play at one point in time throughout the playoffs. I don't remember which game it was. He played 47 minutes. I think he was in the low 30s in Game 3. Bumped that up to high 30s, maybe 40, 41 minutes for Mikal tonight. He's a guy who can handle that. And if anything, I feel like that adds fuel to his fire as well, knowing how important his assignments are night in and night out. So I would say try it out, and then maybe just tack on a few more minutes for Mikal and let him go out there and do his thing. And then hopefully everyone else does theirs, and that results in a win. But I think at the end of the day, the Suns need to get back to playing more like they did in Game 2. And that's just their style of basketball.
For sure. I totally agree.
All right, so let's talk about a little bit of gambling here. What do our friends over at the DraftKings Sportsbook app think about tonight's game?
Well, it's been all over the place now. This is 2.5, but the line did move to 1.5 just moments ago. Actually about 15 minutes ago. So yeah, it's been kind of all over the place. It is shifted quite a bit. And that's probably because people saw -2.5 and they figured that the Suns are going to have another tight game with the Mavs. So a lot of money went to the Mavs side and swung the line. And let me actually, as we're sitting right here, let me double check and see what the latest line is right now. It is actually -3. Look at that. It is -3 right now. So
wait, so it started at -2.5, then it went to -1, and now it's back to back to -3.
Yeah, so that means people saw that swing back to the 1.5 line, and the money in Vegas is going back towards the Suns because people think that they can cover that 1.5 point spread, and now it's swung all the way back up to -3, which tells you a lot of people think the Suns are going to win today. And I think -3 on the road, that's usually you get 2 or 3 points on the road anyway if you're the home team. So the fact that the Suns are favored by -3 would tell you that people think that they're going to win by that much or more.
Okay, so I have a quick question, and this might be a dumb question, but whatever. I'm new to sports gambling. If they set an odd, right, and then it starts to go one way or the other, that's not based on information that has necessarily come from the teams or people thinking like analytics people behind the scenes thinking this game is more so in favor of the Suns than it is the Mavs. It's simply just what fans are placing money on that is dictating that move?
It can be both. It can be both. So, for instance, if Chris Paul or Devin Booker was a game time scratch all of a sudden, that would move the money line. And that would move the spread a little bit because now the Suns wouldn't be as favored as they once were. So if they were like a -7 and then Devin Booker's not playing tonight, they might drop all the way down to like a -3, 4, -2, whatever. It depends on where the money's going to go. But Vegas would change those odds immediately. But if you locked in your bet at that moment, no matter what time, whenever you place your bet, you can lock it in at those odds. So if you were at -1.5 today and you put a lot of money on the Suns, you that doesn't move for you.
You keep the -1.5.
You keep the -1.5, and then that's it. So yeah.
All right. What gambles are we making tonight? What are we going to do?
All right. Well, I've got my bet today is pretty simple. I think Cam Johnson's going to have a pretty good game today. And so I like his odds at +200 for over 10 points today. I feel like that's a pretty simple bet. I think Cam Johnson's starting to play much, much better. So, and then we have Espo at the Suns over 118 points today at +550. And then Lindsey.
I've got DeAndre Ayton over 28.5 points, rebounds, and assists. It's a minus 130, but I just expect DA to have a really good game tonight. I just think we're due. I think it's about time that we had a big DA game. So I'm banking on DA coming in big for me here tonight.
For sure. And then we have Gerald at minus 20,000 to see JFK Jr. on the grassy knoll because apparently that's a thing that happened. So not that JFK Jr. came back, but that people thought he was going to come back at the grassy knoll and conspiracy theories. You gotta love them.
You gotta love them. They're fun. Some of them are fun.
Some of them are fun.
Them are fun.
Don't go to the bad place, okay, peeps?
Right. I like your bet with Cam Johnson. I do think, again, same thing, not to sound like a broken record, but I think we're due for some Cam Johnson solid minutes tonight. I feel like it's taken him a minute. I don't know if it's still residual from that injury that he had at the end of the regular season. I'm not totally sure if it's that or just the pressure of the playoffs or whatever it may be. But I am hopeful that to see Cam Johnson step up and have a bigger impact moving forward in this one.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sorry that my camera's out, but we only got 8 minutes left to go. So this is probably better for everybody anyway. So yeah, I agree. You know, Lindsey, I've said all season that if the Suns were going to win a championship, that they were going to have Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson shoulder more of the scoring load, in addition to DA, shoulder more of the scoring load than they did last season. And that sounds pretty obvious. But, you know, when these guys are averaging, you know, maybe less than 10 points a game in the NBA Finals, you have to expect more. And listen, you're about to go up against a team, or at least that's what we expect. If you get past the Dallas Mavericks and the Warriors get past the Grizzlies, you're about to go up against a team that can score at a very, very high clip. And you're going to need your guys to step up big time and be solid offensive options to force the Warriors into some bad situations. And that's what I think we're all anticipating. That's why all season long I've been clamoring for DA to get the ball more down low and give him some more options, because I feel like he's going to be the answer in that next series. This is all cool. And I think it's all well and good that, you know, Chris Paul has these big games or Devin Booker has a big game, but Cam Johnson specifically needs to have more impact on the offensive side of the ball if the Suns are actually going to win the Larry O'Brien. Like, he just has to. And I think a series like this should help quite a bit. My guy's got to just slow down on his shots. Sometimes he has a tendency to speed up his own rhythm when he's about to launch a three, and he just needs to settle down and just, you know, go through his process when he's launching those, and I think he'll be fine. So I feel like he's kind of speeding himself up. I expect that to stop today, though.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that, you know, this team is not built for hero ball. This team is not built for Devin to go off or Chris Paul to go off, and that's what wins them games night in and night out. This team was built on a team effort, right? If you can get 10 points from Mikal, 12 points from Cam, like 10 from Jay Crowder, and then you have Devin and Chris Paul doing their things. That's what really makes this team so great, is that there's so many different people who can contribute in different ways. And I think that's going to be really important as the playoffs go further and further. However far the Suns end up going, I think that's going to be really crucial for them in order to, like you said, if they really want to win a championship, all the guys have to be able to contribute.
Agreed.
So we'll see. All right. You mentioned potentially playing the Warriors next round, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but just the importance of not only getting a win tonight in Dallas, but wrapping this series up as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Why do you think that's so important?
I mean, the phrase playing with your food started with DA and earlier in the year when he felt like the Suns were just kind of messing around in games and not really focused and, you know, and kind of letting lesser teams stay in the mix. And the importance of this is in the playoffs, like, these games are grueling. They're physical. They take a toll, and you don't want to put yourself out there and expose yourself more than you have to. And that's why you got to take care of business, because I just feel like the Golden State Warriors are finding their groove. I think you saw that last night. They're playing at a very high level, obviously. I expect them to move on past the Grizzlies in 5 games. And if you're the Suns, you got to take care of business right now. Like, like, hey, you got 2 games, and then you got to start getting ready for the Warriors, in my opinion. Like, that's the series. That's the one we all want to see. We all want to see that matchup. And so if you're the Suns, like, you got to start to assert your dominance right about now. Like, okay, we have 6 playoff wins. Cool. We got through the first round. It was a little tough. This one seemed like it was going to be easier than maybe it is right now. But you can't fuck around. Like, get it over with. You need to start asserting your dominance as the best team in the NBA. That's what the greatest teams of all time have always done. They've always found another level. I don't feel like we've seen that next level from the Suns just yet. It's got to happen, and it's got to happen soon if they have any hopes to get past the next round and get on to the finals. So I feel like that needs to start today.
Yeah, and when you look at this series, the schedule for this series between the Suns and the Mavs, it's every other day until you get to Game 7. Then you get a 2-day break in between Game 6 and Game 7. So if you can wrap this up in 5, that's the best case scenario, because if the Grizzlies and the Warriors series closes out sooner than later, then you're right into the next one. But you don't want this to go any further than it needs to be and then go into another round. You have to be strategic about that as well. And obviously they're thinking about these things, but we talked about it a few shows ago, just kind of how unique these two things and how it could be a pro and a con on both sides. That the Warriors and the Grizzlies had, I think, what was it, 3 days or 4 days between Didn't they have a game on Tuesday, or was it Monday? No, and then they had to wait until Saturday to play again.
It was Tuesday, then they didn't play it again until yesterday.
Right. So the Suns got to get this one wrapped up so they can get a little bit of rest and spend some time working through and tweaking some things to game plan for whoever that next opponent might be for them. So
for sure,
it's really important. Sunder's Dunks in the chat said T. Craig's still out. Yes, Torrey Craig will not be playing tonight. He is still out. Monty confirmed that in his pregame presser. He was listed, I believe, as doubtful coming into this one, but he is not going to play tonight. And we're not going to see Scott Foster tonight, too. So another really important reason for why the Suns need to pick this game up, because that means the inevitable would be that maybe Game 5 will get Scott Foster as an official. So,
oh man, yeah, for sure.
Which I don't want to get into that too much, but still, just something to another piece of that puzzle when you're playing this chess game here.
Yeah.
All right, Saul, thanks for joining me to talk a little pregame here, Suns versus Mavs. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. Don't forget, we'll be right back here, same place after this one.
And Gerald will be here too.
Yeah,
Gerald is back.
Gerald is back. Espo is not, but Gerald is back. So join us after the game wraps up. Until then, you can follow along with us on Twitter at PHNX_Suns, or if you are a GoPHNX.com member, you can hang out with us in the members only Discord. Bye.